Gujarat N helped in getting the SSIP grant, collaborating with Coursera and other online learning platforms during the COVID. It has impacted almost 15,000 plus students and faculty members from Atmia and other part of the nation has taken certificate courses free of cost. His research outcome covers 13 patents, 5 books with Springer International Publishing, 3 book chapters, 25 plus research papers in Scopus Web of Science journals, 30 plus papers in UGC Care and other reputed journals, 3 papers in IEEE conferences, 10 plus in other international and national conferences, and 15 expert talks, IUCEE, and various universities in the field of image processing. MATLAB, patent filing procedures in India, ML and AI. He is also the life member of IST. He has got 15 plus national and international awards, recognition and appreciation from reputed organizations. Under his guidance, 10 PhD scholars have completed their research work and 50 plus PG students have completed their dissertation in the field of image and video signal processing, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. Dr. Ashish is an excellent teacher, humble, approachable, and believes in hands on learning. He always finds time for research, innovation, and promotion of scientific temperament among the students of school to post graduation to PhD, making the journey of learning very fruitful and joyful. He is a combination of being cultural rooted and technological sound, which makes him a great teacher and a good administrator. So we welcome you, sir, in this FDP, and we are obliged to have you as our expert in this FDP.
Thank you, madam, for your kind and generous words. Uh, Thank you for the introduction. So, can I share my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Uh, is my slide visible to all of you?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
It's visible.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you and good evening to one and all present in the Microsoft Teams room. And I thank Team VVP, specifically Jignesh Joshi sir and Dipesh Kamdar sir, for giving me this chance of acting as an session expert today. So the topics that has been given to me, I would be I would be in the entire uh, 3 hours of span, I would be covering those two topics, as well as, if the time permits, we would be taking some topics, live topics on AI tools also. So the first topic that has been given to me, or that we'll be discussing today, is latest trends in machine learning. Basically, as we know, there are few famous terms like AI, ML, DL, and data science. We know AI is artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and data science. These are the 4 words, but these are famous terminologies. If if we say basically what is artificial intelligence, then we can say that it is a science that is associated with the data, and where machine starts learning from the data and derive a variety of useful insight. This is what I think I would be skipping is fast, but then will be taking care that the introduction is being given, because the experts previous to me might have uh, given the crux of what is AI, ML, and DL and data science. But then to the larger audience, I will be giving a small introduction of what AI or ML is. So AI.
Sorry for interruption, Ashish sir. Can you
Yes, sir.
go to presentation mode?
Okay, okay, okay. Fine.
Yes, then you can continue. Thank you,
Uh,
sir.
this is visible.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, fine, fine. So basically, if we say this, these are the four famous terminologies that we use in day-to-day life, and also in our practice also. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and data science. So basically, deep learning, machine learning are both the subset of artificial intelligence, wherein artificial intelligence shows the machine's ability to think, sense, act, and adapt, just like what human do. Today we'll be discussing about the mimicry that the artificial intelligence or machine learning process does, equivalent to what we as a human do, right? So artificial intelligence is used for planning as well as optimization. They capture the knowledge, and the artificial intelligence finds many applications like natural language processing, in computer vision, voice recognition, robotics, and many more. If we go to the first subset of artificial intelligence, we would be able to find out that the same thing is performed and the termed differently. Like the operation is same, but the terminology that we use for this is different, like machine learning. So again, as we learn from the experiences, machine also learns, computer also learns from the experiences. But then in that case, we need to find out the way in which the machine learns, how well the machine learns, and it all depends on our capability of writing the algorithm, finding the best suitable algorithms and all. But then machine learning is basically its ability, computer's ability to learn from certain operations or certain devices. Basically, that machine learning tool is a statistical tool to explore as well as analyze the data. These are the two most important parts. One is exploring the data. After the data is being explored, we should be able to analyze the data so as to find the insights from those data. And then uh, by iterative process, we can improve in the performance with as soon as the size of the data also increases. And we know that as the data size increases, we have more amount of data that the machine learns, and the machine will become more powerful as compared to the previous case when some data is being added then and learned by the machine. There are uh, there are three types of machine learning algorithms that we all know, or maybe previous expert may have explained: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. These are the three types. Depending on what is the expectation from the machine learning algorithm, we'll be using one of these three algorithms. And there are many more algorithms that still came, and we will be discussing today about the latest trends. This are the theoretical part of the same. Now, if the data is in terms of text, is in terms of some speech, is in some text or image or video with a very small amount of data, then we would be using the machine learning algorithms. But then as soon as the size of the data increases, like image processing and video processing. Image and video are the two contents, is two data. Video is nothing but sequence of images. So we can say that whenever we are processing video, we are actually processing the image. So when the data of image is too large, when the data, because of the image, and when the data set becomes too high, then the algorithm that we need to make use of is deep learning algorithm, wherein the multi-layered or single to multi-layered neural networks comes into the picture, and these neural network actually mimics the human performance. So when the size of the data is huge, we can say that we would be using deep learning, and then in the smaller size of the data we'll be using machine learning algorithms. By the way, all this is artificial intelligence, and since uh, we are even we work on text, we work on speech, we work on image, we work on um, uh, video. All this is nothing but data, and therefore whatever we do, we are working on the data. We process the data. That means we think the data, we sense the data, we act on the data, and we adapt the changes or from the data. And hence this entire all the things can also be said as data science. That means this all are famous terms like artificial intelligence, machine learning, but then these all are coincides with each other. Each find its application with each other. And hence ultimately it becomes the science associated with data, wherein the machine learns from the data and derive the variety of insights, useful insights from the data, like this is a man, this is woman, this is dog, this is pencil, like this. Means there are many different applications with which we can make use of this artificial intelligence, machine learning and deep learning algorithm depending on our requirement. But then the common definition that can be given is this: it is a science. And one another definition that can be given, there are many definitions that speakers or that experts has given from of the artificial intelligence and machine learning, but then these two are the famous definitions that we can find out from various speakers. It is an intelligence displayed by machines that simulates, mimics, right, human and animal intelligence. So this is what is all about the simplest thing that what is artificial intelligence means. Now we don't bifurcate, or we don't differentiate between artificial intelligence, machine learning and deep learning, but rather we say that it is the same thing, and then it is associated with the data, and therefore data science is also associated with the same thing, right? So this is the file. Next, uh, let us come to the topic that is latest trend in machine learning. So basically the topics that are being displayed on the screen can be said as latest trends in the machine learning. Some of the algorithms or some of the applications are previous, but then there are dimensions added into that, so that the machine learning algorithms become more easier as well as more powerful in terms of performance analysis. So the screen shows the various latest trends in machine learning. Specifically, I was able to find out that in 2025-26 onward, this 24, 25, 26, this maybe the trends, the emerging trends in machine learning. So we can work on this. Start from the large language models, where text generation and contextual understanding becomes easier as there are added dimensions in the machine learning. Integration with IoT means this is one of the most important development that we were able to find out in the last 1 or 2 years, that machine learning algorithms, the machine learns, but at the same time it also works with Internet of Things, kind of Internet of Things, takes the data from the internet, learns from the internet, gives the data towards the internet. Hence, home automation now can become smart automation, or we can say that it means any automation process using Internet of Things now becomes the smart automation system. Hello, hello, hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I think there was a noise. So, okay, no problem. Fine. So, okay,
Sir,
fine.
yes, sir. Please
So,
request participants to mute.
fine. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, basically, what I was discussing is integration with IoT is one of the latest developments that we can find out that as the time would progress, there would be more applications of machine learning with Internet of Things. I think last few sessions we were learning about IoT, though we'll not go deep into that, but then we will be learning one or two applications from this in deep so that we'll be able to understand the latest trends. Then comes one of the most important advancements in machine learning technique, that is automated machine learning. It is also called auto ML. We will be discussing this in detail in slides to come. Right? Then natural language processing. It is an old area, but then some of the advancement like language translations that has given an impact, or that will be creating an impact on the impact as well as easier natural language processing, which were earlier considered to be difficult so far as machine learning algorithms is concerned. A new topic or new point that came with an AI or machine learning technique is explainable AI, right? Wherein we think of more transparent algorithms to be written, more transparent way in which the machine learning algorithm works with the data, and the transparency in the input as well as output uh, in the processes will be there, so that the machine learning algorithm itself explains the user that what I am doing. So this is one of the topic that is currently trending or maybe in trend from now onwards. Then comes federated learning. It is basically associated with privacy preservation, and specifically that point of cross-silo learning will be one of the most important point, that is with the help of which this federated learning would be doing good so far as machine learning is concerned. And there are more advancements or features that has been added in the past few years in the reinforcement learning also, so that the same can be used for automation in the robotics as well as robotics learning, right? And gaming, and means for entertainment purpose, this reinforcement learning will be having more latest trends. And then comes Edge AI. It is a real time, means Edge AI gives the real time processing of a data with cloud. Like most of the data will be there on the cloud. So taking the data from the cloud, processing the data on some of the tools like from the cloud, and then giving the data back to the cloud. Initially, what was difficult, but now with the Edge AI, real-time processing becomes easy. Why? Because the algorithms are written in such a manner that we are able to find out the efficiency so far as the bandwidth is concerned. And then comes ethical AI, which is the most important terminologies that is being used right now. Because until and unless we would be means until and unless we all who are working on machine learning algorithms, who are working on artificial intelligence, the experts who designs new and new concepts. But then if this ethical component is not added, then we don't know where this machine learning operations will go. Therefore, one of the most important topic that would be in trend from in ML, and right now people are working on ethical AI. They are publishing policies and processes that AI should be used up to this much of point, and ethics is to be included while designing the algorithm on AI, while developing the application with the help of AI or machine learning. So accountability as well as fairnessness is are added whenever there are AI-based algorithms which we want it to be done, right? So these are some of the points that are latest trends so far as machine learning is concerned. So these are brief overview of what is auto ML. So basically auto ML is the revolution in ML model wherein we would be able to find out that these 3 points will be we will be learning this in detail auto ML. Why? Because this is the most important, one of the most important part in the latest trends. So feature engineering, wherein the machine learning algorithms identifies and selects the relevant features automatically, selects the model automatically, and tunes the hyperparameter, optimizes the various parameters automatically, which until this point of time, we are suffering to do this, and we are taking major amount of our time. We are investing major amount of our time in doing this three tasks. Whenever we design the algorithms, we develop the application using machine learning algorithms. So AutoML is one of the very precious advantage that we all as a machine learning developer or AI developer or the experts in the AI would have, right? And then NLP advancements. So basically, this advancement in natural language processing comes from transformer models for the improved understanding, and then in terms they generate this NLP advancement is they generate text now from the language, so that now because of the huge amount of data that is fed into the system, and then machine learns from the huge amount of data, and because of that the understanding of that machine is improved, and therefore it is now capable of now started become capable of the generation of the text, which will be very much useful for again text as a data will be very much useful for the next process. And then it also have the attention mechanism, wherein uh, we would be able to focus dynamically rather than initially it was a static focus in the attention mechanism, that this is a Gujarati language only, Kathiawadi language only, English language only, English from UK, English from US, Marathi. So we were static in identifying the natural language, but now the focus is shifting toward dynamic process or dynamism of the language acceptance or language identification because of the advancement in contextual analysis. Again, based on this advancement, the applications are chatbots, sentiment analysis, and language translation, which were difficult in initial level of natural language processing. So far as federated learning is concerned, uh, federated learning basically it is used for data localization and sensitivity in data protection. Data localization means they take the data anywhere from the cloud or anywhere from the internet, for example, but then the processing of the data is local. Means there is a global data that comes to the system. With the help of the local system, it processes the data, and therefore sensitive data can get protected so far as the processing is concerned, right? Therefore, this federated learning now becomes a secure model for training the data, and therefore it is used for the security purpose. Applications are majorly. This federated learning is majorly now applicable to healthcare data and financial. These two are the most important. We can say that the domain where the machine learning advances are happening. One is financial side because now we have all the data, all the financial data also available on net on internet, and machine can learn anything out of this. So the financial privacy and healthcare data security is two of the most important industrial application wherein this federated learning will be used. But then uh, up to this point of time, up to today, the technical challenges that is being faced by federated learning is the heterogeneity within the device and latency in the network. Still, we don't have known latency networks with us. And therefore, until and unless this happens, the federated learning would have some of the limitations of working. But then people have opened up for this, and people will be working on this so as to make federated learning a good option for healthcare data and financial data, specifically for the security of the data by operating data at local point. But then local point needs also an upgradation. This is one of the limitation also to federated learning. Then comes, as we have discussed, then comes explainable AI. This explainable AI find its application in healthcare finance, similar to federated learning, but then also the one of the most important application wherein explainable AI would rule is autonomous vehicles, which are now started developing AI based e-vehicles. Why? And the points that needs to be taken care or that are of main constraint is safety and reliability. These two are the main constraint of autonomous vehicle. And when AI becomes the explainable AI that that it takes care of the roads, the blocks, the everything, then safety and reliability are the two issues that happens in the self-driving technology, right? And similarly, in healthcare, the explainable AI would ensure the patient's safety and trust in the medical AI system. Until this point of time, we don't have means people are working on the auto diagnosis, means AI based diagnosis. I say that I have this, I have this, then the system would diagnose that you might have this problem. I give the reports. For example, it asks for some of the report, blood report or so. We give the report and it gives me the what we can say medicine and as well as diet, medication and medicines. But then until today point of time, we don't believe in this kind of AI based tool. But then as the system would progress, as the explainable AI would come, we would be able to find the way with the help of which we can start trusting on medical AI systems, right? And similarly, we would be able to build the confidence in AI driven financial transaction as well as decision making. You might be you all might be knowing that now people have started working on AI based financial decision making, like in the stock market or so. People started using AI for finding out the possibility or probability of the stocks in days to come. And AI basically learns from the previous data and gives us the answer, which is today having good accuracy. But this accuracy would also increase with the help of explainable AI. If you say about reinforcement learning, the most important applications that reinforcement learning would be made use of is in robotics, gaming, and again in autonomous system, right? So there are more than one algorithms, one machine learning methods or algorithms that can be used in a particular application. But then there is always a chance of hybridization between two or more of the algorithms so as to make our systems more learner friendly and more effective. So reinforcement learning is used in robotics to develop applications of in specifically in robotic system wherein where that particular robotic systems would find their applications in agriculture, maybe in industry. So from agriculture, the robot would learn about what is being taught, and then auto agriculture system will be uh, possible using this reinforcement learning and robotics technique. Similarly, to enhance the gaming experiences, reinforcement learning can also be useful. Then comes Edge AI. Edge AI basically works versus cloud AI. If you see the comparison between these two, wherein cloud AI is centralized processing, means global processing. Edge AI would be used for the real time processing. Because of that, the latency is reduced in Edge AI, and specifically, this Edge AI is to improve the privacy of the data which is there placed on the cloud. So, taking the data from the cloud, but working on taking from global, working on local. This is what is the definition of Edge AI is, and specifically why people are focusing on Edge AI is for improved privacy compared to the potential privacy risk that is there on cloud AI, right? Next point that I would like to discuss is large language models. So large language models are having their own impact on again natural language processing. So extensive data sets provide the foundation of this LLM training, this large language model training. And this is what is the motivation of this. There is a vast text data available. And then based on this data, extensive data, the next point or next step is to train the large language models. The process of training the models on this diverse text data. As I said, large language models, as I said, that this text data may be diverse in nature, right? This text data, the converted text data may be from the Gujarati language, from the Kathiawadi language, from the Surti language, from the Ahmedabadi language. So the language is Gujarati, but the tone with which the people uh, speaks is different. So finding out this diversity, learning from this diversity, and give the accurate result. This is what is the one of the objective behind developing large language models. From that, we can also generate the content, speech-based content or text-based contents, wherein we take the prompt and then the content can be created from this large set of data. We can also summarize the large text into concise summary. So, because of that, if we condense the text, if we summarize the text, the bandwidth used would also be less, and therefore, this data models can be again useful for large data. And then all AI systems using large language system would be capable of engaging in human-like dialogues. This is one of the major, what we can say, the major thing that is coming nowadays. Robot speaking just like human. When robot speaks with the human, it identifies that with whom he speaks. And based on the data which that robot have or that machine have, it changes the emotions also. And this is what is all about large language model, wherein the conversational agent would play a very important role for the communication with actual human or maybe machine. And this is what is the base of industry 5.0, means communication between human and robot, this two, right? So this is industry 5.0. So one of the most important model in industry 5.0 will be large language model. Then, as we discussed, integration with IoT, machine learning algorithms integrates itself with IoT, uh, wherein we have some of the data. Let us consider that we have placed globally, we have placed some routers and we are taking data from all these routers. Then the work means right now what we are doing is we collect either one or two data, and then we process on these two data using some of the mathematical model which are locally designed by all of us, and then we stick to a smaller application area. But now, because of this concept of integration with IoT, a large data from internet can be analyzed. From analysis, some insights can be generated, or insights are generated using this machine learning algorithm with the help of process automation. And because of this, all these things, the decision making becomes very, very, very effective, and hence the decision making becomes fast, enhanced. Not only that, but it is effective, and therefore we can say that IoT alone and machine learning alone. But when these two are merged, the efficiency is increased by multifold. So now means people now would be working on not only on IoT, not only on machine learning, but they would be integrating with IoT. Again, as I said, Industry 5.0, this is again one of the most important point that is to be considered for effective implementation of Industry 5.0. Ultimately, the last point, or maybe the last thing that we need to take care is for greener uh, machine learning environment. Greener machine learning environment, we need ethical AI, right? The problem, this is what is the compulsory need when AI is emerging, when machine learning algorithms are emerging, when we cannot come out of using this, or basically we are all surrounded by the AI and machine learning algorithms, because we are using smartphone, and we know that our smartphone is one of the best tool that knows more about us compared to what our relative knows about us. So like we are all surrounded by we all are surrounded by this machine learning algorithms. But then when anyone develops the machine learning algorithm, ethical AI is what is needed. The problem here is lack of awareness, uh, and therefore it fails to address the biases effectively. There are insufficient frameworks also available in ethical AI that leads to inconsistent AI practices. If there are practices which are which there should not be such practices, then it is not because of the people are developing that, it is because of the insufficient frameworks available with us. But then towards the day progresses, we will be able to identify the gaps, and ethical AI would come into the picture, right? And accountability gaps also. As soon as the accountability of a particular algorithm, of a particular application would increase, now it is a generalized terminology. All the terminologies are generalized, all the applications are generalized. Who has developed, we'll not be able to know. But then now, as soon as the accountability is embedded within the algorithm, within the application which is used, it would be done. But now the problem is it results in the unregulated AI usage. When we use AI and our accountability is not fixed, we can use AI like anything. But then we need to make sure that some of the accountability is added so that we can create an ethical AI models. Transparency issue is also one of the major what we can say the criteria that needs to be considered for ethical AI. And therefore, in rapid AI advancement, if we do that, we can effectively work on the ethical AI. People have started working on AI. People abroad have specific job requirements for designing the ethical AI models, or maybe policies and procedures of ethical AI. So people have started thinking on this, and we we also need to do that. Otherwise, means we also need to go for ethical AI. So this were all the introductory aspect of what latest trends in latest trends in machine learning is. Uh, Based on the time constraints and all, I have taken one or two applications in deep, so that we can be able to understand. And one that I found most important for all of us is AutoML, which basically it is used for streamlining, simplifying, scaling the machine learning processes. Why? Because of its ability to automate various stages of the machine learning pipeline. And by doing this, it allows user to tackle the real-time problems without needing extensive expertise in the machine learning. Basically, if we why I have taken this statement, the last statement, needing extensive without needing the extensive expertise in the machine learning, because right now, if we all say that what is machine learning, then people start finding out who are the machine learning experts. Let us learn from the machine learning experts. Let us learn from those who know the machine learning algorithms. Let us find out the way in which we can design or train or test or this. We know about this, but then a person who is not knowing machine learning algorithms, he or she cannot be able to design those. But then with the introduction of this AutoML, simplifying and scaling of machine learning processing would be multifold. Why? Because we'll see next. But then uh, real world problems get the effective solutions through data pre-processing, model selection, hyper parameter tuning, and model evaluation. These are what the major important areas of machine learning is, right? Data pre-processing, model selection, hyperparameter tuning, and model evaluation. So as to get the effective solution, we take the real world problems, and we want some effective solutions to come out of the machine learning algorithm. We use our expertise. If we are expert, we know machine learning algorithm, we use our expertise to pre-process the data, to select the appropriate model out of many available, to tune our hyperparameter in a way that we can get the optimized result, and then evaluate the model so as to make sure that whether the solution or the model that I have selected, that we have selected, is giving the effective solutions or not. And if I'm not able to find out the effective solutions, then I go back, take a round back, do the same process again with different parameters, with different model, with different pre-processing algorithm, and find out whether I can get the more effective solutions out of it or not. So this becomes a time consuming process. But then benefits of auto ML, that means auto machine learning, is it streamlines the process. What does it mean? It means that it simplifies the work. It simplifies the work in terms of the machine learning algorithms. When machine learning algorithms are getting simplified, the the speed with which the algorithm is being generated or workflow is accelerating. So streamlining the process simplifies and accelerates the machine learning process. It also enhances the efficiency. As I get the effective streamlining, acceleration in the streamlining, my efficiency would get enhanced based on the task on the complex problem, specifically in complex problem. If the problem is simpler, then you would not means we would not be identify the difference between auto ML and only simply ML. But then, if the complex problems are there, we would be we would be able to effectively identify the difference between these two. Uh, Accessibility is also improved, productivity, and most important part is if we want to innovate something, we would have the time, we would have our mind applied at innovation rather than recycling or refinding or retuning or remodeling, right? That re point is eliminated in auto ML. Therefore, we can innovate something with the help of AutoML rather than giving our time for iterations, right? So let less iterations, more innovation is what is the very important advantage of AutoML, right? So this is the difference between the traditional ML algorithm with which we work today, right? Left hand side shows the traditional ML training workflow, which we today adopt for machine learning. And on the right hand side, it is an workflow of auto ML, uh, which is the advancement, right? So you'll be able to see that the pre-processing of the data, training of the model, and evaluating whether that model is giving the best result is being done manually by all of us up to this point of time, right? Up to this point of time and using the traditional machine learning algorithm. Uh, because they and it is time consuming. Why? Because there are multiple iterations to find out the best method to pre-process the data. There are many methods available so as to pre-process the data. Like for example, if I consider the case of image, that image may have compressed version. It may require some enhancement, intensity enhancement, velocity enhancement, right? Intensity enhancement, anything what is required. So that pre-processing of the data is taking the tedious time. Then training of model. So the giving the data to the model, training the model gives you the time. Training of model takes your time. That how to train the model, which model is to be trained, which is the best model that we can train using this set of data, and then evaluation whether the particular model is important or not. And this whole process are manual and optimization. Basically, we are optimizing. Why this is a circular path? Circular path shows that there must be an optimization so as to find out the best pre-processing method, the best model that is to be trained, and uh, the best evaluation, right? So the requirement for training machine learning algorithm is manual iterative processes like pre-processing, training and evaluation, as I said. And hence we require manual optimization. The problem with this traditional ML training, and because of this extensive iteration process, uh, these traditional ML processes are workflow are only suitable to the experienced user. Those who know machine learning operations, those who know various models that can be trained, those who know all the functions that the pre-processing uh, can be done, and those who know the evaluation criteria of a particular model, right? This much of accuracy should be there, this much of precision, this much of recall, right? So based on these data, so whomsoever knows about ML, they can work on traditional machine learning training workflow. So because of this reason, this traditional machine learning workflow becomes time consuming and tedious. And and therefore, uh, because this now auto ML workflow come. If you compare this to the most these three process that takes the time that are being very much tedious: pre-processing the data, training of the model, finding out the best model, and evaluate the performance parameters of the model. This tedious task has being done by a single process called automatic machine learning process. So there is no requirement of manual iterative processes like this pre-processing, train model, and evaluation. And the best part of auto ML workflow is auto optimization technique. Auto optimization means it would be able to find out the exact match where you will be able to get the best result, best possible algorithms and parameters which are very much suitable to the data that you have given. If I change the data, the algorithm automatically changes. In case of traditional machine learning algorithm, or in case of traditional ML training workflow, this would not be possible. If the data changes, we need to again change our pre-processing method, training of the model, and evaluative parameter. But in this case, in auto machine learning flow, we need not to, even if the data changes, there is a auto change in the pre-processing, auto change in the model selection and evaluation does in auto ML process. So it is suitable. Now, if this is happen, what I need to, if I am not an experienced user of ML machine learning, I don't know about any of the machine learning or any of the artificial intelligence algorithm, means if I am a beginner, I also can use auto ML, and I can also train my data. I have the data. I have the problem that is defined problem, but the major problem is I am not the experienced user of ML. But now the problem is solved. Also, beginner can also take this machine learning algorithms, and therefore it saves times, and the task is very easy as compared to the tedious task that is in traditional machine learning algorithm. This is exactly equivalent to what we have found out from microprocessor. If someone is from the technical, means I hope major of the participants are from the technical backgrounds. So hello.
No, sir, continue.
Okay.
Continue, sir.
Okay. So majority of the participants are from the technical background. As we have seen that from journey from microprocessor to machine learning algorithm. So this is one more step added to the machine learning algorithm, that is auto ML. Now even school student can work on Arduino microcontrollers, for example. Why? Because of the automation. They need not to write a program, a script. They only need to uh, put the blocks. So like this only, machine learning has auto ML would give this kind of feeling to all of us who are non-experienced user of machine learning and wanted their data, their critical data, their collected data to be trained, one of the model to be trained with the help of that data. So therefore, machine learning algorithm based on, sorry, auto machine learning algorithm based on the capability of its easiness and saving of time, as well as automatic optimization of all the parameters, um, is very much advantageous compared to the traditional machine learning algorithm. This is one of the example of auto ML. For example, if we have written the script and now we are giving the data to auto ML, what inside that auto ML do? That inside that auto ML do is equivalent to this three particular task. We design model 1, we design model 2, we design n models, and then we find out which is the model, which is the high quality model. This is the time we require if we don't use auto ML. But in case of auto ML, it directly jumps to high quality model, right? So it saves our time, it saves our efforts, right? Based on the data. So featuring the data also is automated using the auto ML process. I think this example is clear. So the key component of auto ML process is data processing, which is the first step of this auto ML process, which cleans the data. Means if the data has some problematic values, it cleans all the values and then prepares the data for the analysis. That data pre-processing can be handling missing values, can be normalization, can be encoding, or maybe other thing. But then the best part is it is decided by the algorithm itself, which is the best appropriate data pre-processing method is being calculated or identified by the AutoML algorithm. Then comes feature engineering, means process of creating meaningful features from the raw data, right? We have a raw data with us and we want to find out the meaningful features like this is having two eyes, one nose, one mouth, two ears, brown hair, black hair, like this. So they means it automatically identifies the meaningful features from the raw data from the automated selection as well as extraction process. And then after data pre-processing and finding the feed and finding the meaningful features from the raw data, uh, uh, the AutoML process jumps to the model selection. This model selection, in the model selection, AutoML choose the most suitable algorithm for the task at hand. This means that if we are processing video, also it selects the model like this. If we are processing on a huge data, it selects deep learning method. If we are processing a small data, it selects some machine learning algorithm. So depend on which kind of model to be used. Now it is not the decision of us, it is the decision of uh, the model, the AutoML process itself. One of the most tedious and the problematic task to all of us, whenever we have designed, we were designing the algorithms for machine learning. The most tedious task is to optimize the best hyperparameter. The tuning process becomes the most tedious and time consuming task whenever we design the machine learning algorithms if we don't use AutoML, right? But then in this case, this hyperparameter optimization, the fine tuning of this parameter becomes very much easy and automatic, and therefore we can assume or we can resume the optimal performance of our parameter. And then with the help of cross validation and metric optimization, we can evaluate the model uh, uh, based on so as to ensure the accuracy and reliability. So if we compare, for example, we take one data And one expert of machine learning algorithm uses his own expertise and designs an algorithm for training the data. And similarly, one unexperienced person use AutoML process in most of the cases. And now, as the technology will grow, this AutoML process would become more accurate as compared to the manual machine learning process. So these are the key components of any AutoML algorithm, which is automatic in nature. We need to only give data, and this all are done automatically. Maybe some of you who has previously worked in the machine learning algorithms are able to identify now that the time that we have consumed for these much of process, five process, is now reduced to a click or or a simple command, right? So this is what are the key components of Auto ML. These are benefits of Auto ML. It democratizes the machine learning algorithm, and this is very much useful for non-experts of machine learning algorithms because it makes machine learning accessible to wider audience. Means if there is a machine learning algorithm only and not an auto ML algorithm, many of the known experts would not touch or would not give the data for training a model. But then, because of this auto ML, now the expert or non-expert can give their data and train their model. So training a model now can go to a wider public as compared to the smaller expert public. And obviously, if this happens, the experimentation on various datas, on various applications, designing of algorithms, designing of various applications would would be accelerated, and and because of this, because of the automatic process and ensured efficiency as well as reliability, the deployment of this ML algorithm in real time becomes faster, right? And because why deployment can become faster as well as possible. First of all, deployment should be possible, and then it should be faster. When it becomes possible, because if and only if we ensure that the results are consistent in nature, results are reliable, and they are repeatable in every aspect of machine learning. And if I use a particular algorithm, and if some other use the same algorithm, the outcomes of those two are unbiased. Then and then the deployment can become the faster one, right? So and then for higher level task, uh, and for experts, it becomes focus on complex tasks by automating the routine process. So this is the best advantage of auto machine learning process, that that the routine processes are automated so that we can divert our time, we can dedicate our time. Experts can dedicate their time to solve the complex problems. So these are what are the various benefits, various advantages of auto ML is. Every coin has two sides. So there are also limitations of auto ML process is, right? It may lack explanation because now since everything is means every most important task are automatic, you would not be able to know that how I got the result and how I got the good result. So internal explanation, what model is used, what is the hyperparameter that is tuned, what is the pre-processing technique that is used, you will not be able to, we will not be able to uh, know that process. And therefore, the explanation, we cannot explain this algorithm compared to the previous one. And We would not be able to have the choices because it becomes automatic. It becomes the machine specific. We don't have any choice to alter the data. We need only to write down the command or click a button. We have limited number of choices as compared to the traditional machine learning algorithm, wherein we can, with the help of our intellectual, our knowledge, we can combine various hyperparameters we can with the models, and then we can find out the result, so that we can explain also and we can have the multiple choice. And this auto ML process is good only if the data is good in terms of in terms of the priority and as well as the reliability. If the data is reliable, if the data is good, then and then this works good, right? And then it is having the domain expertise requirement, but then this can be limited. So in general, if we say that uh, it is having the high impact of impact on effectiveness can be high or low. Complex, and it depends on the complexity of mitigation. It is high or low. So these are all are the limitations of auto machine learning process, right? And then so basically those who have worked on machine learning algorithms, those who are working on machine learning algorithms, those who are pursuing their PhD, maybe many of the participants present in this room may be pursuing their PhD and may have their one of the topic that is selected as machine learning algorithms. So what we can identify is how we can use auto ML process so effectively identify the data. We can put more data and therefore finding the impactful effectiveness on our designed algorithm. So now means this limitations would also go out as the time will progress, but means enhance it is suggestible for the future learners to concentrate on both auto machine learning process as well as traditional machine learning process, so that in days to come there would be the algorithms, there would be the requirement wherein traditional ML algorithm and auto ML algorithm can be used in hybrid mode so as to get a very huge amount of efficiency, or we can say that accuracy, right? So limitations can become advantage depending on how intellectually we work with the data, with the machine learning algorithms. So auto ML is one of the most important latest trend in machine learning algorithm that one can identify and one can represent or one can show, right? The tools, the most important tools, you can note down these tools. 10 most important tools that are used for automated machine learning algorithms. For models, we have some of the specific tools for model selection, training of the data, and optimization process. The most important tools that are used right now are H2O.ai, Google Cloud Auto ML, and Microsoft Azure machine learning algorithm. And there are also limited uses of Auto sklearn that I found from my search. That Auto sklearn, we all know that sklearn is the Python based library for machine learning algorithms. And now Auto sklearn has also came into the picture, and it is also the library of Python. So I think with this popular tools, usage of this popular tools will effectively take you towards a good machine learned algorithms can be created. So I think this is all about what we can say auto machine learning tools. And these are the applications, right? Wherein we can use almost in all area, we can use machine learning algorithm in healthcare, in finance, in retail, and in manufacturing. The best part is we can take the advantage of time reduction, complexity reduction, good efficiency, good accuracy in all these four sectors. In health sector, we can predict the means diagnostic prediction can enhance with the help of AutoML, and therefore it improves the patient's outcome as well as uh, efficiency. Similarly, in finance, fraud detection, safeguarding the financial transactions are the two most important applications wherein AutoML can contribute more. In retail sector, customer segmentation and demand forecasting. One of the most important point. Yes, I would like to highlight this point in retail management. If there is an auto ML process, if it saves time, because generally in retail, uh, in retail also, there are not so much of experts of machine learning algorithm, but then there is a much more requirement of machine learning algorithm in the retail sector uh, regarding demand forecasting. Depending on the accuracy with which they get the demand, they can uh, uh, they can result in the they can take the decision based on what to sell and what not to sell at which particular time and which particular geographical location, right? Manufacturing also would get some of the advantages of AutoML process. These are the applications of AutoML process. Uh, Next point. This was about AutoML. Next point is integration of machine learning and IoT. That what
Sorry,
is what?
sir. Just
Yes, sir.
yes, thank you so much for brief detail of AutoML.
Yes,
Before
sir.
you continue with the session, let's take 2-3 minutes break for question answer.
We can. Oh,
Yes, so
unfortunately I stopped my presentation. I share again.
no issues, sir. So all the participants, if you would like to ask something about AutoML at this stage, you can ask. Otherwise, I will continue on the next part of the presentation. Yes, ma'am. You can ask.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Good evening,
Yes,
madam.
you are
You are
audible.
you are absolutely audible, madam.
Okay. Sir, I want to know that what are the enhancement and improvements for finding the ambiguity and contextual meaning in sentiment analysis in natural language processing domain?
Basically, the advancement in natural language domain processing domain will be the text coming out of the languages, and this is what is the latest advancement. Until this point of time, we were able to identify the speech. For example, if I am speaking, then you may or may not be able to identify that this is a Gujarati person speaking English language, right? Now there is an enhancement that that Gujarati inside it is in Kathiawadi language, and then it converts it into text, and again conversion into that text to the real Gujarati language also. So this is what is the advancement happening so far as natural language processing is concerned with the means which in the days to come. I think
Okay.
this is what is the advancement.
Okay. And sir, another one question is that what are the enhancement regarding the ambiguous data in a particular sentiments or uh, paragraph?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I Hello.
What are the methods to detect the ambiguous language?
Basically, right now the methods are not developed like automatically we can find out the sentiment analysis. But now, right now, the way in which we use the traditional algorithm means as I explained, auto ML and traditional ML. Similar is applicable to natural language processing also because it is an machine learning of algorithm. This point of time, until this point of time, the machine learning algorithm which is used for sentiment analysis is same as manual process. But then in days to come, uh, from my language, the emotions that I have would automatically and effectively be calculated based on the auto ML process. And this is what is one of the most important point so far as sentiment analysis is concerned.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
I think I would like to ask myself one question which many of the people would be asking, and I would give that answer to at the last point. That in the presentation I have used this diagrams, right? And from where I use this diagram, I will give you the answer. It is very easy. And this is again an automatic process of one of the tools that I'm using for effective PowerPoint presentation. Any more questions?
Any more questions?
Just
I
me,
think,
sir.
sir, there are no questions, so
Hello.
you can continue.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So the next point that that is to be discussed is integration of machine learning and IoT, right? So at one point we have Internet of Things, at the another point we have machine learning algorithms. Now there is an integration of machine learning algorithms and Internet of Things. There are advantages and disadvantages of these two as being displayed on the slide. Um, the advantages are now with the help of integration of machine learning algorithm and internet of algorithms on Internet of Things, we will be able to process the data in real time, and we'll be able to identify the trend. So trend identification becomes easy so far as the integration is concerned, and therefore we'll be able to identify the or detect the anomaly. Uh, on the on the other hand, the complexity of the algorithm when we integrate Internet of Things means the data to be taken from various ends from the internet, that is to be processed locally at one algorithm, and then applying machine learning algorithm, finding out the best solution, and making a system. So the complexity is one of the most important disadvantage. Means right now the system would be complex. Why? Because we started integrating machine learning algorithm and Internet of Things, and since we have started, we have the limitation of resources also, and starting cost is always high. But then as the day would progress, as we would be able to find out the progression, these disadvantage would be lowered and there would be more advantages that would came across us for effective integration of machine learning and IoT algorithms. If we integrate machine learning and IoT, there will be many good outcomes that we'll be able to find out in various sectors. Like we means when we have started working on smart cities. So in that case, we can enhance the urban infrastructure as well as services through intelligent systems, because smart cities are nothing but taking data from the entire city, processing that data, and finding out the solution. But now, since integration of machine learning algorithm would give a predictive analysis, and based on the predictive analysis, the smart cities can become more smarter in days to come. In healthcare system, we can improve the patient care as well as operational efficiency with data-driven insights also, right? So uh, we can have the data from the patients. We can derive the insights from those data. We can effectively diagnose and can suggest medicines also. And this can be done on sitting on two different places also. Uh, Agricultural operations can also be optimized through the data analytics. When to pour the water, when to what is the time for seeding and everything, right? Pesticides is required or not, and like this means from the data that the system captures, it identifies, learns, and again implements. Manufacturing sector also, because in smart technologies, in smart manufacturing technique, everything depends on the sensor and sensor data. Through internet it comes, that data is being processed, and with the help of smart technologies or machine learning algorithm, predictive analysis can be done. So for the effective manufacturing process also. So this is about integration of ML and IoT. Reinforcement learning is the last point that I would like to discuss before we end this particular point. Uh, if you see the central reinforcement learning framework, if we see the framework of the same, it has three most important parts. One is agent, environment, and actions. All the agent or particular agent is a learner or a decision maker. What does it do? It interacts with the environment. It finds out the possibilities from the environment. It finds out the data from the environment. That environment, basically, it is an entire external system with where the agent can operate, can interact with that environment, and an agent learn from the environment. It makes the decision by interacting with the environment, and based on the decision that he means an agent has taken, it gives the actions depending on the change of the state of the environment which is required. So it is an iterative process. It continuously interacts with the environment, uh, makes the decision based on its own learning, and changes the state of the environment based on the learning. Again, checks, interacts with the system, checks the learning, and this continuously happens, right? So this helps in optimum decision making, right? In domain advancement also, and with the help of this reinforcement learning, the research work can be evolved, and based on this is what is the cycle of reinforcement learning advantage. There are again pros and cons of the reinforcement learning, which are shown on the web on the slides. Uh, high computational cost is one of the disadvantage against the optimum decision making. Significant advancement. Versatile applications is what is the important parameter of reinforcement learning, but then it requires complex implementation. And till this point of time, reinforcement learning is uh, having an ethical concerns. So this is about reinforcement learning, and this is about the first part that I need to interact with. There are means we can explain all the advancements, all the latest trends in machine learning, but then depending on the time period that is being assigned to me, I tried to capture three of the most important points that can be taken care of, and this is what I tried to explain about 3 points. So at this point of time, I would like to thank all of you for very good listener. You asked the question, I like the same. And again, I may be, if the time permits, I may be able to explain all the other 7 areas that are being left in this presentation. So thank you all for the first part. If you have the question, we can take the question answer session.
Thank you, Ashish sir.
Thank you, sir.
So, all the participants, you are free to ask the questions now. If you have any queries, please raise your hand.
Sir, hello.
Yes, please.
Sir, can you explain what is actually a TinyML is, and is there any relation between TinyML and AutoML?
Basically, TinyML, I exactly don't know about TinyML, but so far as I heard about TinyML, it is for the smaller amount of data. It is a subset of AutoML process, but it is a very for smaller amount of data. TinyML is used, but then in case of AutoML, any set of data can be automated. This is what is I know. But then, sorry, I don't know about more about TinyML.
Okay, sir. Okay.
I would like to add something to that. TinyML is most of used to deploy on the smaller devices where processing powers are less.
Yeah.
So as data is less and you have a very less processing power like that you have in the Raspberry Pi, we are using the TinyML. Yes, Pratibha.
Hello, sir. Which are the currently
Yes, ma'am.
used ML technique for anomaly detection in IoT networks, sir?
Majority
Or any ensemble method we have to use?
majority CNN.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Majority CNN is the algorithm which is most probably used with one of Westnet or anything.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Amit sir.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good
Hello.
evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Okay. Sir, there is my one question is basic about that. Means like in ML, there is a classification regression means supervised learning, unsupervised learning is there. So how can we implement like linear regression or support vector machine or random forest in AutoML?
Basically, this is what is in not our hand. So far as AutoML concerned, when I was discussing about the limitation of AutoML, I specifically explained this task that the problem with AutoML is it lacks in explanation that which algorithm it uses best suits and it uses would not be available to you. For example, available to us. For example, it has identified that this is the hyperparameter which is exactly tuned. But now we'll not be able to identify the mathematics behind it. Yes, we get the answer. We'll be getting the effective answer from AutoML, right? But then we'll not be able to identify that which particular algorithm this AutoML might have used. We give the data and we have the answer with us. There are 3 different processes that is being taken care inside, but what are the processes that AutoML process has done, we'll not be able to identify. Like pre-processing of the data, identifying the best suitable model. As you said, we'll not be able to identify it is a linear regression or decision tree or deep learning algorithm, neural networks. What they have used, we'll not be able to identify. But then we'll be getting the result automatically. And that is what is AutoML all about. We need not to worry about the model selection. We will not be able to, we need not to worry about the tuning of the hyperparameter, and similarly, which pre-processing techniques to be used for this particular data. When the data changes also, in case of traditional ML, what I explained is in case of traditional ML, if there is a change of the data, for example, suppose I am giving the data sets of various items, right? Various items, and that needs to be identified. Like from YOLO algorithm, we know that from YOLO algorithm we can identify various items. But suppose I am not able to, suppose I am adding one item and it is not available in YOLO, I will not be able to, means I need to again iterate steps in traditional ML algorithm. But in this case, it automatically decides, it takes the new data, it automatically trains the model and gives us the answer. So in AutoML, which is the model that is selected, we will not be able to identify, but we'll be getting the answer.
Okay, sir. So basically means we don't know about which algorithm will be used in the particular AutoML, but only we can only feed the data and getting the result from that AutoML process.
Yeah.
Okay,
And that is
thank
what
you,
is
sir.
the benefit of AutoML is for beginners. For example, 1 year back or 2 year back, if I was a beginner of I was the beginner of machine learning algorithm, I hesitate using the machine learning algorithm. Why? Because of the tedious processes in data pre-processing, model selection, hyperparameter tuning, and evaluation of that particular model. But now I need not to worry. Even if at today's date, I need not to worry even if I don't know about anything. Why? Because I need not to know about this thing. But then the advantage to those who are experts with machine learning algorithms, traditional ML algorithm, as I mentioned in the one of the slide, that it would be an advantage to those who know about machine learning algorithms. They can enhance their problem or take their problem to more complex level and find out more insights from the data using this algorithm. This is what is the advantage of AutoML process. I hope I'm able to. Yeah.
Sir, is there any limitations of AutoML?
Yes, I explained. Limitation. One of the most important limitation of AutoML is we will not be able to. Will not be able to. One of the most important limitation of AutoML is we will not be able to identify that what AutoML has done. We cannot explain to anyone. For example, if I am using AutoML process, I would not be able to explain you that what is the data pre-processing method used, which model is selected, how many epochs that this model has taken, what is the number of iterations that this model has done, and what are the evaluation that internally being done by AutoML. This is what is the major limitation of this AutoML process.
See, our goal is to achieve the accuracy, right? In
Yes,
that case,
yes,
yeah. In that case, ML is advantage.
Absolutely. Because it automatically decides the best suitable model, best fit hyperparameter, and the best suitable data pre-processing method. And when everything is selected best, automatically the accuracy that results as the outcome would be good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your
Sir, I have.
insightful session.
Hello. Sir, I have one question related to the same.
Yes, sir.
Sir, then how to justify the correctness of result in AutoML?
Justification is that whenever we are testing the real-time data, and the accuracy that we get out of AutoML result, and if we compare the same thing with traditional ML, we'll be able to find that AutoML results are good as compared to what we can achieve with the help of traditional ML technique. So as I think Mohan sir told, accuracy is the final parameter that the machine learning. There are three, four important parameters that machine learning algorithms needed. One is accuracy, one is precision, and recall algorithm. So I think this is what is the validation of finding the means. You give the test image, you find out how much precision the result it gives, how much accurate the result is from AutoML and from traditional ML. You will be able to find that AutoML would give you good accuracy, good identification, good result as compared to previous one.
Thank you. But sir, the thing is, we are not able to justify how we have achieved it.
This is what is the limitation. We will not be able to justify. This is what is the limitation of AutoML. Why we are not able to justify? Because we don't know which is the algorithm. It is mathematical operations that are being done using AutoML. We don't know, and that is why we are not able to justify. We are not able to explain. In case of traditional ML, since we have done everything, we have used our algorithm, we have used the mathematical calculation, we have tuned our parameter, we can explain. But in this case, we have done nothing. We have just triggered AutoML process. We have just fed our data to AutoML process. That AutoML process does everything that a human does it by manual. It does it automatically and gives the answer.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
Sir, in case of generative AI, we are giving input as text, right? Can we give input as audio files and video files also?
Yeah, you can. You all can try. You all can try. Now we have the options in generative AI. What you all can do is in Google Chrome. I don't know whether you know or not. In Google Chrome, you download AI PRM extension. AI PRM extension, and uh, sorry. AI PRM extension, you download it, install it in Google Chrome application. You log into ChatGPT, that is generative AI. ChatGPT using your email ID, you would be getting various prompts. And one of the prompt is audio signal also. But then limitation up to this point of time to audio signal is it identifies only a clear audio sound. Now machine learning operation with the help of natural language processing, advancement in the natural language processing, will be able to identify our speech which is spoken in non what we can say in non-regular speech patterns. Like regular speech patterns are audio patterns, but in our case also, for example, if I speak in terms of right now, I speak with the help of microphone in ChatGPT's AI PRM model, I would not be able to get the good answer. Why? Because it would not be able to identify everything that I wanted to speak. But then with the advancement of natural language processing, it may be possible. But right now it is possible with the help of AI PRM extension, freely available. And there are prompts available to process on the speech inputs. You can give this audio file also. I hope everyone would be taking this note. AI PRM extension, very good extension, freely available. Yes, they have limitation of number of queries per day, but then it is good for us if we have the less number of queries every day. And there are various prompts from research also for everything. You can download and try.
Okay, AI PRM for Chat GPT, AI PRM for Google Chrome. Many things are there.
AI PRM for ChatGPT.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Okay. Sir, should we?
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, Ashish, sir.
Ashish, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, sir, before we take a break, first of all, I would like to thank you, sir, for a very great in-depth session on the latest trends on machine learning. And I would like to request all the participants to turn on their cameras for a photo session with our expert for a few moments. I request all the participants to turn on their cameras. Again, I request all participants to turn on their cameras for a few seconds.
Hello.
Hello.
Ma'am, it is asking for permission required to turn off the camera.
Okay. I request our admin team, technical team, sorry, to please resolve the issue and give the rights.
I think it's your browser or your app needs a permission. From our side, it is already given.
Okay, I'm checking. I'm using MST map only.
It might be from your device might need this. Otherwise, we have given the permission to all and all.
Okay, fine. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
I hope all participants have turned on their cameras.
Yes.
Hello. Kamdar, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You can
Yes.
turn off the camera now.
Okay. All participants can turn off their cameras. Sir, shall we take a break of 5 minutes and thereafter meet? Ashish, sir, whatever the time you suggest for
5
break.
minutes is 5 minutes is fine. Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Thank you.
Oh, okay, sir. So participants, we shall be meeting on the same platform after 5 minutes. Thank you.
The session is kept on only. So
I
after
think we
5
would
minutes,
start the
Ashish.
session.
Sorry?
I think we would start this session only, right? In this session only.
In this session only, and we are not turning off the Meet. So it will be continue after 5 minutes. Till that time, everyone can take a break.
Okay.
All the participants are requested to turn off the camera and mics.
Hello, Kamdar Sahib.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it okay? You
Yes,
just
okay.
told that.
Sir, we will discuss it afterwards.
Okay. So can I off my camera?
Yes, sir. Please turn off the camera and mic.
Hello, participants. We will share a single link today for both the sessions. After completion of the second session. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Hello, sir, shall we start or still wait? Kamdar, sir, and
We can
Ashish,
start.
sir, is available?
We can start.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Yes, over to you, Ashish, sir. Welcome back, sir.
Yes, ma'am. One
Yes.
minute, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Take your time.
Is my slides visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Slideshow mode is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So the next topic that I'll be talking today is the second topic that has been given and as addressed in the timetable, deep learning and neural network architectures. I would skip this first PowerPoint slide as we have discussed this about artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and data science. Directly coming into deep learning algorithm, basically deep learning is a subset of machine learning that utilizes neural networks with one or many layers to analyze various forms of data. This is what is the task of deep learning is. Most importantly, the process of deep learning starts from designing the neural networks with large data sets. The specific applications is for pattern recognition. Maybe it may be the image data, video data, or maybe text or speech data. So as to make some decision and prediction for the analysis. This deep learning algorithm or deep learning specifically it is inspired by the structure and the function of human brain. This is what I was discussing in the previous part that every technology which is developed based on what human do and how do they do this. So it is inspired by the structure and function of the human brain. Particularly, it is a communication, it is a kind of communication medium and it communicates with each other like the neurons in our body or our brain in our brain communicates with each other. So there are means before jumping onto the neural network, I would like to explain here about the biological neurons that is there working in our brain. So brain would take the inputs from there are various points and there are various parts of our brain and the four of the most important parts are dendrites, nucleus, axon, and synapses. These four parts are very much important so as to take the data, process the data, and give the insights out of that. And our brain is structured like this. We have many dendrites, one cell nucleus, um, surrounded by some cell body, and axon. So dendrites would be receiving the data, receiving the information. Uh, that information may come from our ear. Means this inputs can be from any of the senses, and outputs can be on the any of the actuators. Then nucleus processes the data information received from dendrite. Excel basically works as a cable between cable used by neurons to send information from one point to another point. And synapses, it is a connection between the axon as well as the other part of the neuron dendrites. Right. So one input is taken by one dendrite. It is being processed by the nucleus, can be communicated with other dendrite through synapses with the help of the axon. So this is what is the entire structure, biological structure of our neural technologies. But then specifically, these are the most important four parts, which are responsible to take input, give output, and process the inputs based on the understanding based on the neural. So this is a biological neural which is natural, naturally works, and in against to that, people have built the artificial neurons, which are having the same components, like they have input, they have node and output, and there are interconnections in between these two. So the characteristics of artificial neurons, when it was decided that artificial neural network or ANN, or maybe artificial intelligence, when it was decided, then it was decided that to mimic the human structure, to make functions similar to human functions. So the characteristics of artificial neurons which are developed or generated is a method. Basically, a neuron is a mathematical functional model, because we don't know what biological neurons do. But then we know that if this kind of signal comes, that neuron processes based on the learning that the person has done in his or her past, it takes the decision and gives the answer to either the senses or working senses. So against to that, artificial neuron is a mathematical functional model. It was a biological model. Against that, we have a mathematical functional model on the working of biological neurons. Basically, it is an elementary unit in an artificial neural network. Artificial neurons are the most important units in ANN, that is artificial neural network. And there can be one or more number of inputs, and similarly there may be one or more number of outputs that we can have it from this artificial neurons. But in this case, these inputs are separately given the weight, separately given the importance based on the amount of input that it gets, and based on the amount of learning that it has out of the mathematical model that has been designed previously. So those inputs with weights are summed through a summer and passed through a non-linear function so as to produce the output, because we know that our brain or biological neural system, neural network, is also a non-linear system. It works differently for different inputs, or even it works differently for the same input in a different condition, right? So inputs are summed, they are passed through a non-linear function, and then every neuron signal in this particular artificial neuron holds an internal state, and it is called an activation signal. Until and unless a particular neuron is being activated, it does not work. and this entire neurons will be useful for the communication of information from one end to another end, like the biological neuron. And we have the connection link between two of the neurons. So this is what is the exactly mimicry of what biological neuron is and what artificial neuron is. The the process is similar. Process is similar. Information is being processed through a network formation in both biological neurons as well as artificial neurons, and then this process is being done upon the activation of a particular signal. There are some similarities between biological neurons and artificial neurons, and there are some differences too that are highlighted in the slide which is being shown here. It is an so far as similarities is concerned, we can say that biological neurons are natural activation, having natural activation mechanism. Against that, as I said, artificial neurons have some algorithm activation process. Here there is a brain network formation. It is a network formation of neurons, biological neurons, and biological neurons and biological structure. Here there is a layered network structure so as to process some of the information with the help of network formation. So far as differences is concerned, basically biological neurons are working on experience based learning. Like today I have learned something, I would be taking the same learning and function as per the learning function tomorrow with that particular learning. Inside my brain, I have some chemical compositions within that, and therefore communication is done through the chemicals which are there in the in the brain, and it is difficult to understand the structure of brain since it is a complex structure. Against that, we cannot generate as an artificial neurons, we cannot generate very complex structure. So compared to the biological neurons, the artificial neurons are simplified models. Communication are numerical communication, means that there is a transfer of data, maybe binary data or other data from one place to another place, and it is not an experience based learning, it is an algorithmic learning. The way in which the algorithm is written for learning, the artificial neurons learns. So there are similarities also and there are differences also. So there is a point called perceptron. So based on how the entire brain works, this is a perception that this may be the deep learning model that can happen. There are inputs that are given some weights. There is a summing function wherein some bias point also is given if in case it is required. The output of the summing function would be an induced field that is being given to the activation function so as to give the so as to get the output. And this is what is the entire structure of deep learning perceptor is. Today I'll be discussing about two of the most important deep learning network with the help of neural networks. There are many different types of neural networks, but again, based on the assignment of the time, I would be particularly uh, using or particularly explaining two of the neural networks. One is two of the neural network architectures. One is feed forward neural network, which is the simplest one. And one is the most useful for today's case is convolutional neural network. These are the two networks that I'll be making the presentation today. So feed forward neural network. Why the name feed forward? It is because the information flows in only one direction from input to output, and hence there is a name called feed forward. Neural network has its own architecture of minimum architecture of input layers, hidden layers. Hidden layers may be one layer or there may be multiple layers, and then comes the output layer. right? It is the one of the most fundamental and widely used neural network, feed forward neural network. I request, there is an echo coming out of some speaker. I request. Okay, right. So information flows in a single direction and therefore feed forward. There is no feedback kind of mechanism in this. So information goes through information layer. There are hidden layers so as to process the information, and then comes the output layer, so that it depends. Input layer consists of the neurons that receive the input, and each of the neuron will be representing one feature of the input data. Means if the input data has multiple features, there will be multiple neurons that are required in the input layers, right? So as there are number of neurons present in the system, there may be representing multiple features of the input data. Hidden layers are responsible for learning the complex patterns in the data, and each neurons here in the hidden layer applies a weightage sum of inputs followed by a nonlinear activation function, as we have uh, understood from the previous slide, right? First of all, a summing, a summer, and followed by the activation function, right? And output layer, as always, it corresponds to the number of classes in a classification problem or number of outputs in a regression problems. So basically, there are two kind of, from here we would be able to identify that there may be two kind of problems in a neural network. One may be the problem of classification, and another may be the requirement of, rather than uh, problem, I can say that rather it is a requirement. So if there is a requirement of classification, it represents the number of classes, and if there is a requirement of regression, it represents the number of outputs. So each connection between the neurons in these all these three layers, it has an associated weight which can be adjusted, and this is what I was discussing in the previous session, that this adjustment, how much weight is to be given by, how much tune I should, this is one of the hyperparameter adjustment of the associated weight during the training program, so that the best adjustment gives the minimum error in the prediction. So machine learning algorithm, or any neural network algorithm or architecture, it is all about predicting whether it is right, it is wrong, predicting the answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like this. And these predictions can be right, or the right answer and the prediction, the result between these two, the difference between these two is decided by these adjustments, right? So one of the hyperparameters is adjustment of the associated weight. So I was discussing like this. So this was I discussed. So activation function, right? After summation, we have an activation function. There are few important activation functions with us, like sigmoid, 10H. It is called TAN also. ReLU, which is one of the most important activation function, which is used in majority of the neural network architecture, and there may be a leaky ReLU function also. All of them would be representing some data, some of the expression, and all are functions of data. The data is represented by X, and that function is represented by F. So as the X changes, the data F or 10H or ReLU or leaky ReLU changes depending on the function, right? So how training happens in feed forward neural network? So as I said, we need to adjust our weights of the neuron, weights that is given to the neuron, so as to minimize the error between the predicted output and the actual output. So this process, basically this training process, is typically performed using two of the most important method, that is back propagation and gradient descent. So as the name suggests, it is a feed forward algorithm. So one thing is completely known to us, that is forward propagation. So what happens is input data passes from input layer to hidden layer 1 to hidden layer 2 to hidden layer 3 to hidden layer 4, like this in a sequential manner until the output is calculated. There may be, as I said, there may be one or more than one layer in between, hidden layers in between the input and the output, right? So input data passes through this input layer to hidden layers and then comes to output layer. And in the output layer, we'll be able to find out the predicted output for this particular input. Now we have an input, we have some predicted output, we also have some actual output. Now we need to identify that whatever is being designed in the hidden layer, whatever weights we have designed, is minimizing the error or there is an increased error in between predicted output and the actual output. This is the way in which by calculating this loss or maybe error, we will be able to identify the accuracy of a particular training system, right? So again, as we have two kind of tasks, possible tasks, one is regression and one is classification. So in classification, we calculate the loss using cross entropy loss function, and in regression task, we would be able to find out the loss using mean square error, which is one of the most famous mathematical aspect, so as to find out the difference between input and the output. Then comes the back propagation error. Now, as signal would propagate, error would also propagate, but it would propagate back through the network to update the weights. If I will be, if I know the error, that now the error is, for example, 8, for example, and I want error to be reduced, then if that 8 error goes, I would again adjust my weight. And if after adjusting means either increasing the weight or reducing the weight. If I increase or reduce the weight, for example, if I increase the weight and this output prediction is comes closer to the input, this the adjustment that I have done worked. I would again increase the weight. I would see the result whether it is going towards the input, and I would find the optimum value wherein input and output has the minimum error. And this is what is the entire function of back propagation is. Then the gradient of this loss function, the gradient of this particular loss function is calculated, and as I said, weights are adjusted, but that adjustment is done using a gradient descent method. What is this? Let us understand. So gradient descent method is an algorithm that is that again specifically it is used for reducing the error. So what does it do? It iterates it iterates and updates weights in the direction of the negative gradient first, right? So negative gradient. Negative gradient means the gradients which are choose for minimizing the error. So there are three common variants of the gradient descent. One is batch gradient, one is stochastic gradient, and one is the minimum mini batch gradient descents. So what does these three do? As in being highlighted in the PowerPoint slide, the batch gradient descent updates the weight after computing the gradient over the entire data set. Whatever data set I have, I will be able to find out, compute the gradient over the entire data set, and based on what answer I get, I would update my weight. While in stochastic gradient descent, that weight updation depends on each training example individually. Means I take the one data, I would check the weight and update the weight. And mini batch gradient the third mini batch gradient descent. Uh, in that case, the weights are updated after we compute or calculate the gradient over a small batch of training. Example, if I have 100 data, I would take 5 data, find out the gradient and update the weight. Again, another 5 data and like this. So it is a batch processing, right? Uh, so there are three most important gradient descents. Feed forward neural network, since it is the simplest neural network, it is having application, and there are simple applications in machine learning algorithm like pattern recognition, classification, regression analysis, image recognitions, and time series predictions. These are the most simplest applications of machine learning algorithm, wherein the simplest algorithm can be made use of. Since this is a simplest algorithm, it has its own limitation, like the choice of number of hidden layers and the number of neurons in each layer is limitation. We cannot have our own choice of designing the number of hidden layers and number of neurons in feed forward network, because of which the performance of the network or performance of the model, performance of the training is affected, right? And there are two of the most important problems that we'll be discussing after in the next slides. Like two of the most important problems in machine learning algorithms, neural network architectures are overfitting and underfitting the data. But then we'll be explaining this overfitting and underfitting in the next slides. But then it is an overfitting is a common issue where the entire network learns from the training data too well. It also learns the noise also, and therefore since the energy of the network is vested in terms of training too much of data, including noise, then therefore it works very poorly on the new data and unseen data, and therefore the accuracy of the test data would be less in case of feed forward neural networks, right? It is the simplest network. It works on the smaller amount of data. If the applications are very easy, we can use feed forward neural network. Advantage is it gives you good accuracy for the simplest task. But then if the tasks are complex, we need to go for complex network architecture, neural network architecture. And one of the most important and mostly used in today's date, the most used neural network architecture is convolutional neural network architecture. The inspiration of designing this convolutional neural network architecture, because uh, there are two of the most important inspiration or motivation behind this convolutional neural network architecture. Since the most or major source of the data are images and video files, and we know that in our all five senses, the majorly used sense, 65% of the used sense is our eyes, and through our eyes we can capture images and videos. So the data available through image and video compared to speech, compared to hearing, compared to audio, the size of the data created through images and videos are huge as compared to speech as well as hearing aids. So specifically, one of the motivation is to operate on images, to function on images, to write down algorithms which are very much applicable to huge data of image and video. This is one of the inspiration or motivation, and another motivation is to mimic what eyes and the respective structure of the eye does for human. The same can be implemented in convolutional neural network. So basically, convolutional neural network is a specialized class of neural network which is designed effectively to process the grid-like data, measure x-axis, y-axis, uh, and color and grayscale images, right, such as images. So on the left-hand side, you can see that CNNs basically are used to mimic the human visual systems. But then, as I said, in case of brain, similarly, the structure of human brain as well as iris system is complex as compared to is very much complex and difficult to understand. But then we can mimic using the simpler algorithm. Uh, Complex feedback mechanism can be removed and relying on the supervised learning rather than unsupervised learning, so that it can drive the advances in computer vision despite these differences. So the motivation is, let us mimic the retina and the portion of the brain where the images are processed, and uh, uh, then find out the algorithm with the help of which it can be processed by machines. So if so, we have our visual cortex and we have now CNN with us. So if we compare both of them, the structure is hierarchical structure in both the systems, right? They build the complexity through layered processing. Means one layer gives this answer, second layer gives this answer, third layer gives this answer, and based on what all layers gives, the data is being reflected. Then there is a local connectivity also, that neurons connect locally so as to enhance the efficiency as well as uh, focus, right? Why? Because the most important point is retina, and retina is basically used to retina and its function, focal point and every function is used to get the clear cut answer of what it has been seen, and with a focus inside. And second one is translation with invariance. So we'll be able to detect the features that are consistent across different locations. For example, if I see one image at one point, one geographical location, and similar kind of image in another geographical operation, the I would be able to identify the features which are consistent. Means I would be able to, for example, in this image, there is a dog playing with a ball. So I'm able to find out this, even if it is at any place, even if it is at this place or any other place. So translational invariance is also matters in both CNN and visual cortex. Visual cortex as well as CNN both are useful for multiple feature mapping. Whereas multiple means diverse, right? Diverse features are can be extracted through each processing stage, like retina to focal point to brain, and similarly in the CNN architecture, which we'll be explaining in the slides to come. Uh, as we said that we cannot mimic entirely the function, but then so as to mimic this, we need to have a non-linearity function. So all the activation functions in this would be introducing the non-linear responses. So if we go to the image and if we see the number of parts that are there in our human visual systems and the data processing units that processes on the images, that processes on what retina sees, right? The similar kind of structure has been mimicked as CNN, means convolutional neural network, wherein we go from left to right rather, sorry, from right to left rather than going from right to left in case of feed forward mechanism. Here we see, we observe, we decide, and based on our learning. So we have a dense input layer, we have number of pooling layer, convolutional layer, and activation functions. So this is what is the convolutional neural networks key components are. There are basically two most important operations that is being happening inside any neural network and convolutional neural network also. Those two are feature learning and classification. These two are the most important point. And for these two operations, there are four main parts in CNS. So that CNN can mimic how human brain operates to a particular image set so as to recognize the patterns as well as features, right? So these four parts are convolutional layers, rectified linear unit, pooling layers, and fully connected layers. So far as two of the operations are concerned, the first three convolution layers, rectified linear unit, and polling layers are there for feature learning, and then fully connected layers are useful, very much useful for classifications. There are algorithms which is to be written for individual feature learning as well as classification, right? This is one of the examples of the key components using one of the images. So we have convolutional layer, we have pooling layer, we have different and fully connected network, number of activation functions, and then we have the output layer. In case of convolutional neural network, the most important mathematical function that is happening in the convolutional neural network is convolution. Convolution is one of the most important convolution is the most important algorithm, or we can say mathematical aspect that is being done in convolutional neural network. So far as convolution in image is concerned, we consider the case of image. It is also called neighborhood processing. It is also called spatial filtering, or it is also called mask processing. Right? What does it mean? It means that over here you would be able to identify that I have a particular image, right? And I would be designing a mask of 3 cross 3 or 5 cross 5. 3 cross 3 means 3 rows of a data and 3 columns of a data. 5 rows of a data, 5 columns of a data, m rows of a data, n columns of a data. Then what I do is I would place my mask on to the image. I would multiply this two, and whatever result comes, depending on the algorithm, whatever result comes, I would replace that with the middle pixel, right? I would change the value of the middle pixel. Pixel, basically it is a picture element value, right? That value depends on that value is called intensity values. That those values can be in between 0 to 256 to 55 rather. So far as grayscale images are concerned, and then RGB values of the same so far as RGB image is concerned. So what we do is mask processing means what we do is we place the mask on top of the image. We multiply that mask value with the original pixel intensity value of the image. And depending on what answer comes, we change the value of the middle pixel of that particular mask. Then we move the mask on the right hand side towards next column. As all the number of columns are completed, we go to next row. So we would be able to operate upon this. So let us consider this example. We have a 3 cross 3 mask. That mask is M00. What does it mean? It is the central pixel, right? And from left, it would go to -2, and from right, it would go to +2. These mask is being placed on to these values of local part of the image, right? Local part of the image means a part of the image wherein you can place the mask. Placing the mask means multiplying the value of the mask with the intensity values of the image itself. Whatever the result comes, that result is to be changed with the center pixel value of the image. And therefore it is called neighborhood processing. Means we look into neighbors of the central point. We operate on that particular uh, 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 neighbors, and then we change the value of the center pixel depending on the value of the neighbor pixel, right? So this is what is being done as a neighborhood processing and spatial filtering. If we take out one example or mathematical aspect, the mathematical aspect is the convolution, expression of the convolution, right? Uh, and in case of image, one example is being seen. So we have E pixel, which is unprocessed pixel, and we have RST, UV, W, XYZ. These are the values of filter or mask, right? Then new value of E would be the addition, multiplication of individual element R into A, B into S, C into T, and so on, and addition of all this multiplication, right? So this and therefore new value of E would come based on the values of neighbors. If the values of neighbors are less or more, it affects the new value of the neighbor. So, and this is repetitive process for every pixel in the image. So we go from left to right, and then we go from top to bottom, so as to process, so as to have the new pixel values of all pixels. Here, when we do this, there is one most important problem that comes in front of us. When we place a mask on, for example, on the left upper part of the image, you can imagine left upper part of this particular image, what happens is the second row and second column pixel would be the one who is first changed. Then the mask goes to right side. So the right side pixels would be operated. Then it goes to downside. So downside all pixels will be operated. But in case of 3x3 filter, you would be able to find out that when we do this, the first row, first column, and the last row and last column are the one pixels, intensity pixel values in first row, first column, last row and last columns are the one which would not be processed at any point of time. Why? Because of the nature of this particular filtering. So it changes only the central pixel. So this is the way in which it is done, and therefore this process is called spatial filtering. Spatial we say because we are considering image. So this is what I understood, but this is the major problem. You see, this is the major problem. The central pixel is changed, the upper portion is not changed. So at edges, what will happen? First row and last row as well as columns, and for if we increase the size of the mask from 3x3 to 5x5, first and last two rows as well as columns are. So there are two possible solutions. Either we can ignore the changes, ignore the edges, first row, first column, last row, last column, or we can paint the images with 0. So what we can do is we can add a more row and column with values of 0, but then it is going to be another problem. This is one of the example with data. You can check this data. So this is one example. Convolution is basically a filtering, right? Convolution in spatial domain is very much equivalent to multiplication in the frequency domain. But then, multiplication in spatial domain is exactly equal to the convolution in the frequency domain. So therefore, we are multiplying because multiplication is easier as compared to this. So we do this now. Activation function. So after this convolution operation is being done at entire image, what happens is a ReLU activation function is applied for each convolution operation. So after we complete the convolution operation, the activation function is applied, and as I mentioned in the previous slide also and previous presentation also, ReLU is the one of the most important activation function in any of the neural network architecture. What does it do? It helps the network to learn about the majority of the non-linear relationships between the features within the image, and therefore it helps to make the network more robust for identifying the different patterns. And this is what is the requirement. The requirement is to identify various patterns, and this is effectively being done by the activation function. One of the most important activation function is ReLU activation function, right? And gradient problems are also mitigated. So after the activation function is applied, we would go to next point is the data goes to the point goes to pooling layer. As its name suggests, pooling layers pools the data from one point to another point. And there are three most important polling examples. One is maximum polling, another one is sum polling, and average polling. So max polling with a 2 cross 2 filter with a stride of 2, what happens is stride of 2 means it goes on the front side as well as downside by 2 pixel values. So if you see max pooling, what does it do? There are 4 values 0.1, 0, 0 and 0.5. So now the data needs to be reduced. Why? Because of the so as to address the dimensions of the feature map, right? So why it is reduced? So as to reduce the memory used while training the network. So max pooling, what does it do? Out of this 4 pixels, which is the maximum value, it is 0.5. That 0.5 is taken. 1.6 is taken, 0 is taken, and 0.5 is taken, right? So means depending on the stride it is taken. So the dimension of the feature meg. So why this is used? So maximum pooling, maximum value of the feature meg. Sum pooling, it adds all and gives the result. And average pooling is it averages all and gives the result. So we would be able to get the polling result. But this pooling would be is continuously become smaller. So that polling function is applied. So what happens is it is one polling layer that converts 4 cross 4 to 2 cross 2, for example, or 16 cross 16 to 4 cross 4. Second polling layer will further reduce it to 4 cross 4 to 2 cross 2, and like this. So the last polling layer flattens features map so that it can be processed by fully connected layer. So now next layer would be fully connected layer, and it requires a flattened data for operation, and flattened data would come only if the number of data is reduced at every polling layer. So fully connected layer, basically they are present at the last as the last layer in convolutional neural network. And again ReLU activation functions are applied again for non-linearity. Why this is happening? Because we want to train our model and test our model with the highest level of accuracy. And one of the most important point, as it was discussed in the last slide, a few second, third slide, is a softmax prediction layer, right? After the fully connected layer, one layer of softmax prediction layer is used to generate the probability value for each of the possible output. And then we can label the final predicted label is one with the highest probability score. For example, if I have an image and that image is 90% equivalent to bus, 70% equivalent to truck, 30% equivalent to a car, and 10% equivalent to a bicycle. So the highest probability score would be considered as the final answer. But this would not be possible without a softmax prediction layer. So we have seen that these are the three or four most important layers that are used in convolutional neural network. But the fundamental base is convolution, which is spatial filtering, which is neighborhood processing, which is mask processing. Followed by that, we use polling layer, one, two, or multiple polling layer. Multiple polling layer, the last polling layer is responsible for flattening up so that fully connected layer can also be able to operate the same. Wherever it is required, we use ReLU function after convolution as well as after fully connected layer, so that to mitigate with the take care of, with the non-linearity function, and the one and the last, so as to predict the image with the highest probability, we use a softmax max prediction layer. When we use convolutional neural network, there is a limitation. There are two limitations: underfitting and overfitting, right? So as to find out, before we go into underfitting and overfitting, we need to know that what is a prediction error, right? And we know that how well the algorithm performs and its accuracy. Prediction error is whatever is the prediction and whatever is the actual, what is the difference in between these two, right? And we can say any model is a good machine learning model if and only if it generates some insights from the new input data. If I have made learn the machine learning algorithm with various items on me, and if a new item comes and if machine is able to identify the same, it is called the good machine learning algorithm. So it predicts if the prediction is if the prediction is if the prediction is higher, then we can say that the data model is good. So we'll be considering two of the most major limitations: underfitting and overfitting, basically which are most majorly responsible for the poor performance of the machine learning algorithm. You can see that overfitting and underfitting depends on the values of bias and variance. We can say that if the bias is high, variance is low, it is the machine learning algorithm is called underfit. If the variance is high and bias is low, we can say it to be an overfitting algorithm. And with both values going 1 to 1, it is a good fit or perfectly fit algorithm. So in this bias and depending on what is the value of bias and variance, we can say that the algorithm is perfectly fit, it is underfitted or overfitted, right? Wherein if you say the bias would be bias and variance, both would be representing error, but bias would represent the error due to over simplicity assumption and variance due to model sensitivity to the fluctuation. So overfitting, if we say overfitting, when does overfitting occurs? When a model learns training data too well. This is what we discussed in the previous presentation also, or previous slide also, that if a model learns from the training data too well, it captures also the noise, and it identifies the fluctuations rather than underlying patterns, then it is called an overfitting problem. Model performs exceptionally well on training data, but the problem happens when a new data comes, a new unseen data comes, and it is not able to identify the same. Why? Because of the over learning and learning also the noise. If the new data comes without noise, it would not be able to identify and validate the result, right? So what are the causes of overfitting? There are three causes: complex models, insufficient training data, and excessive training. We train algorithm on one data and again train the same with the different parameter on the same data. So excessive training also causes the overfitting function, right? So how we would be able to address the overfitting, right? So whenever we find the overfitting symptoms, what we need to do is we need to apply regularization. When we see that the graph is overfitting, right? The graph is going out of our range. We should start applying the regularization algorithm, right? And early stopping algorithm. What we can do is we can stop algorithm to learn from the next thing, and we can simplify the model and again do the same task again, so that the overfitting problem can be identified and removed, right? Underfitting problem is exactly inverse to what we can see on overfitting problem. It occurs when model is too simple and it is trained very little, right? So what happens is when the convolution neural network is underfitted, the model performs poorly on both training as well as validation data. We cannot train the model in a perfect way, or we cannot validate the model also in a perfect way, right? So, like it is not learned from the model. We training is a problem and validation is all the problem. Why? Because it is not learning enough from the problem. What are the causes of underfitting? One is there are again three. There are two simpler models. They are too simple to learn. This much of simple models cannot learn effectively, and efficiency or sufficiency of the learning is not good, right? Inadequate training is one of again the problem, and poor feature representation. Whatever the data, whatever the features are there, they are poorly represented by the underfitting problem. If you want to address the underfitting problem, we can go for increasing the model complexity as well as feature engineering. But then again, increasing the model complexity up to the point that overfitting would not happen. So increasing the model complexity so that can go to best fit, and extending the training so that it can go to best fit algorithm, right? So while we want to design the convolutional neural network, we need to take care of overfitting and underfitting, right? So and types of the convolutional neural networks, these are various types, and the most important types that are frequently used in convolutional neural network for image classifications or image analysis is LXNet, VGGNet, and ResNet. This is what I personally have used for image analysis using convolutional neural network. But then also these three, these three, LeNet, GoogleNet, and ZFNet are also important in case of the data which is having a huge amount of image and video data. So with this point, I would stop my presentation here in deep learning architectures. And I would request audience to ask questions if there are any.
Yes, please. If you have any queries, you can ask to Ashish sir. Anyone have the queries?
If we have 5 minutes of time, I have one slide which I wanted to show it to all the participants, which may help them for their better research work. If we have the time, we can go for that. 5
Yes,
minutes.
sir, we have the times, but one query is there from Amit sir, whether we want to address it first or first you want to
No
convey
problem.
the.
We can address. No problem.
Yes, Amit sir, you can ask the query.
My question is about where we use recurrent neural network and how it applicable regarding application. Suppose like
Recurrent neural network can also be used in applications of speech analysis as well as image analysis. But so far as image analysis is concerned, the best neural network that I found is convolutional neural network.
okay, so suppose we can use recurrent neural as in a time series analysis, like
Time series
stock market.
analysis can also be used. Yeah.
Okay, like stock market analysis or medical
Yeah.
drug prediction
For that-
analysis.
For that, we have linear as well as non-linear analysis also, regression analysis also.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Sir, the existing model means CNN. I have to increase some layer to identify
Yes.
the some disease. It is proposed or update or a hybrid model, sir. It's known as what is called.
Yeah. Yeah. People are using hybridization of two of the models like ResNet and VGGNet also. So
Okay.
and getting good results. But again, this hybridization or any other function depends on what is the input data
Okay.
and how would you like to train your algorithm as. For example, what happens is generally what we do is uh, as a research work, what we generally do is we take some data set and on that data set, if someone have used VGGNet or ResNet or any other, what we do is we hybridize two algorithms and find out that accuracy is increased by one-fold or two-fold. But then if the data set gets changed, right, the same algorithm cannot work. Again, we need to retune the algorithm.
Okay. Sir, I have used the real-time data set for agriculture images, the leaf disease identification, sir. But I
Yes, ma'am.
directly use the images, okay. But I have only used the reduce size, reduce operation, the pre-processing. Somebody asked why you didn't use the future selection.
Feature selection. Yeah.
It is possible to identify the disease directly to apply the CNN algorithms, sir?
No, ma'am. Basically, we need to train the algorithm that we need to tell that this is the leaf of that leaf or and this is the problem with that particular leaf. We need to make
Madam.
Sir?
Sorry.
Kamdar sir, please mute yourself.
okay. So, madam, what I wanted to tell is uh, fine. Uh, I forgot your question. Your question was about leaf. So we need to identify, we need to tell neural network that this is this if this type of images is received, then this is called a problem in the leafy in the image. So and it is called the disease. But then disease also have different categories. For example, in one geographical area the cottonseed has different disease conditions, and in another geographical area, cottonseed has different disease. Now, as soon as you give both of the data, the convolutional neural network architecture that you have used for only one set of data would not work on both the data. Okay. This is what is one of the session, one of the problem. So, as soon as we add the data, multiple data, our learning parameter should change. Why? Because it is learning new thing, and we need to validate it for the next data. So it is good that it is good that we are taking more number of data, but then we need to again retune all our parameters depending on what is the amount of data. But as soon as the data is added, we are making our CNN more learning as compared to the less data. So this is what happens.
This last question, sir. Actually, I have collected the images from real field by using the mobile, thermal mobile. But now I have a plan. I will be going to collect data through IoT device. Which device it is suitable for collecting the data, sir?
Means if we are going for leaf disease dissection, leaf disease detection, then you need to go for a high resolution camera also. and then connect to the Internet of Things architecture so that you can get get the data from that particular place to your place. This is what is required. I think we have tried with uh, one of the camera which is coming with high resolution camera coming with Raspberry Pi, and that Raspberry Pi algorithm on the robot would continuously take the data, and through the internet it sends the data to a particular network. This is what we have done previously, and we got good results. Why? Because we are getting every day we are getting new result, and we would be able to identify the growth rate also, multiple things in a single answer. So we were getting that, and this is the way in which we can do this.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any further queries? Okay, so I think there is no queries. Ashish sir, you can share the slide you want to share.
Is this visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Simple, only 5 minutes. We can say that there may be many researchers carrying out their research, or maybe existing their research in any of the domain. There are good AI tools available for research. I would go to specifically only to one slide. This is the slide that you can go for, and these are the various AI tools and AI websites that you can use for betterment of your result. The first two tools, Research Rabbit and Connected Papers. These two tools are very much good for finding out the good connection of the papers for your literature review. Because one of the problem in research is to find out good papers for our literature review. This is the problem that we identified. So these two are giving the exact connections of this particular paper. For example, you found my paper and my paper is on watermarking. Then you will be able to identify that Ashish Kothari has a hand on watermarking. He has done some work in watermarking. Then all the watermarking work that is carried out by Ashish Kothari is find as a connection to that particular paper, so that in one point you can go for multiple. Then who else has joined with a particular person? So this is what is being said, being identified by these two, Research Rabbit and Connected Papers. Based on this two, you will be able to find out number of papers for literature review. Now, those number of papers, you can send it to SciSpace, the fourth one, right? Which is an AI tool for effective literature review presentation by comparing your various papers, identifying the gaps in all the papers, and it gives you the idea about the gap analysis, and you can effectively choose the research problem domain. And this is in minutes rather than in months. You can do it in minutes, and effectively, as AI component plays a very important role. And again, what I'm saying is we should use AI tools. Why? Uh, some means in some of the cases, people say that we are using, if we use AI tools, it gives a problem of our intellectual thinking pattern. But it is not so. As I discussed in the previous slides, in auto ML, when some automation comes, we can go to one more higher level for research, right? So SciSpace is a tool where you can review your literature. After you find out the papers from Connected Papers and Research Rabbit, you can review your literature, you can identify the gap, and you can design your research problem from them. Bit.ai is a web page where it is a single click or single point point web page wherein you can collaborate your entire documentation. You can place documents, you can place your notes, you can place PDFs, you can place web pages, you can place PPTs. So in a single point, at any point you go, you need not to carry your laptop, you need not to carry your pen drive with all literature review papers, all notes, different ways. Only you get into bit.ai, you'll be able to identify, you'll be able to place everything in that particular way. Like it works as a suitcase to all our data. A single suitcase does can place every data. One of the and most important tool out of all this is Trinka, right? We must and this all require Google sign in, and they are free. They are free for some of the number of connections, and like this. Trinka has a very good feature of this uh, one per month as a free authenticate software's identification of plagiarism, right? One free per month, and it is having a Gmail sign in, and it is a free. The most important problem to all of us as a researcher is where to publish our paper, right? Where to publish our paper. I requested Kamdar sir for identifying one of the abstract, but now you can do it by yourself. You can log into Trinka. There is one option called Journal Finder, right? And only what you need to do is you need to copy your means you need to copy and paste your abstract of your paper into this tool, and you will be able to find Scopus Index and good research journals, maybe open access also, in a go. And in that you would be able to find out also the papers which are published in that particular journal, uh, which is of the nature equivalent to the abstract that you have placed. So it would again use in your literature, can be used in your literature review also, right? So these are 5 or 6 AI tools that can be used for literature review. So I think it is more than 9 now, and I think I should stop here. And I thank all of you for being a very patient listener for 3 hours. 3 hours for a single expert would be a difficult task, but then you all have keep your nows clear, and you have heard me. So I thank you all. And again, I thank VVP Engineering College and specifically the Pesher and the entire team of Electronics and Communication Engineering for giving me this chance. I hope I was able to give you some directions. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. It has been a great session by you, and I hope the participants must be heavily benefited by the expertise knowledge that you have delivered.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, participants, do you have any queries? You may ask if you wish. Yes, Amit Modi, sir.
Sir, can you share this PPT on the team, or you can provide within that email?
Yeah. What I'll do is I'll share this. You mean to say about this AI tool, right?
Yeah, sir. Yeah, sir.
Okay, I'll place this PPT as I would append this PPT as one of the PPT presentation and share it with you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Superb content,
Any other
sir.
questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So is nobody have the further questions? And lots of gain from the assisters. presentation. If he continues to speak, it might be he can speak a full night.
Sir,
But
one more point.
yes, sir,
The
please.
presentation and presentation I made, I was able to find out one of the most important, like one important tool for placing that images, good images. That tool name is napkin. You can all of you can also use and go through that tool that is called napkin tool uh, for uh, for preparing a good presentation and good insights. You just need to give some of the text data, and you'd be able to find the napkins of in terms of images. So I think this may be useful to all of you.
Yes, sir. It will be used by all the participants. I hope so. If
Yeah.
you continue sharing your knowledge, it might be a complete night you can talk,
No, no.
but due to the limitations of the time,
Yes, sir.
and uh, as all the participants have no further questions, let's end the meeting here.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ashish sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir. Thank
sir.
you, sir, once again.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, you can leave the meeting if you want. Feedback form is already emailed to you and shared on WhatsApp group also. Please fill the same. Today only one feedback form is there, as Dr. Kothari is the only expert today. Thank you.
Uh, Sir,
Yes, sir.
one question from my side, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
in last day, yeah, we have session of test.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So what should we prepare for that, sir? That's why I want to ask you.
Sir, test will be consist of the I don't sure, but it might be a 25 or 30 MCQs, and
Yes,
that
sir.
will be related with AI, ML, and IoT as the expert teaching you.
So you can provide any material for preparing the test, or we want to learn from first day to last day?
I will share the PPT of first 5 days with you as soon as possible. We already shared the first 3 days video recording and PPT.
Yes, that's we all got it from Google Drive, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
On the
sir.
Google Drive. So we'll
So,
share the today's PPT also. On the 5th day also we will share the PPTs. For the last day's session, it might be we are not able to share it before the examination. It might be shared on the Monday. For MCQs, I will check it out, and if I can find out the some good MCQs from the somewhere collection of the MCQs, I will share it with you all through the Gmail if it is permitted.
so if you send any material for preparation, so it is easy for all participants to prepare for the test, sir.
I will try to send it to you after checking the rules and regulations, whether
Okay.
it is allowed it for to send to participants or not. But in general case, material will I will share.
Okay. Okay. Thank you,
Yes,
sir, from my side.
yes. Welcome, sir. Anything else from anyone?